Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Picture this. You're sitting there, exactly like our animated stickman friend here, doing absolutely nothing. And suddenly you just feel off. It's not sadness, it's not anger, it's just this weird, empty feeling for no apparent reason. You know the drill. You start doom scrolling on your phone, you put on some music, maybe you even pull up one of those hyper-intense motivational videos, but nothing actually works.
And you usually end up asking yourself this exact question staring right back at you. Why can't I just feel happy for no reason? It's incredibly frustrating, right? Well, here is the shocking reality we're unpacking in today's explainer, which is all backed by some genuinely fascinating brain science. Your brain can actually switch into a happier state in literally 15 seconds. And honestly, the absolute best part? It happens without you needing to fix your entire life, force some toxic positivity, or muster up fake motivation out of nowhere. Okay, let's dive into this. Look at these two stick figures having the exact same awful day. I mean, completely identical. The same bumper-to-bumper traffic, the exact same stress at work, just all the same problems. Person A feels absolutely miserable all night long, while person B just kind of shakes it off and feels totally okay. So what is the difference here? It isn't their lives at all. The difference is entirely in how their brain reacted in those first few critical seconds. You see, your brain isn't actually designed to make you happy. It is wired to react fast. But once you understand that rapid reaction, you can interrupt it almost instantly. And that brings us to trick one, face feedback. We're going to learn how to change the signal.
Most of us walk around thinking our brain just creates emotions out of thin air, but it actually actively listens to your physical body to decide how you should be feeling. And your face, it is absolutely one of its biggest sources of information. So I want you to try this with me right now. Seriously, do it right along with our little stickman friend on screen. Step 1, gently raise your eyebrows, just a bit. Step 2, relax your jaw. Let go of that tension. And step 3, let the corners of your mouth lift just a little bit. We're not talking about a massive, creepy fake grin here, just a very soft smile. Okay, now hold that. Just keep holding it for a few seconds while we look at what's actually happening behind the scenes.
So while you're holding that subtle expression, here is what is going down inside your head. Your brain receives this physical signal and literally thinks, oh, we must be safe right now. It's like a green light. When your brain believes you're safe, it automatically dials down those harsh stress chemicals and pumps up the feel-good ones. Notice what you did there? You didn't force yourself to feel happy, you just sent a very specific physical signal that triggered the state change. So the crucial point is where most people get this completely backwards. The huge mistake is waiting to genuinely feel happy before you change your body language. But the reality is that your brain actually works in reverse. Because the brain reacts to physical cues way faster than it reacts to abstract floating thoughts, you absolutely have to change the physical signal first. Once you do that, the emotion immediately tags along. But hey, what if your physical body feels safe, yet your mind is still completely racing? That brings us to trick 2, name it. Think of this as your mental reset button. You know those moments when your mind is just constantly replaying problems or jumping 10 steps into the future with anxiety? We need to look at how the brain operates under that kind of pressure. Basically, your brain has 2 main operating modes: thinking mode, which handles all your logical control, and reaction mode. The split second your emotions spike, your brain instantly abandons ship and jumps into reaction mode, which traps you in this nasty cycle of stress. We need a mental shortcut to instantly yank the brain back over to thinking mode. And here is that exact shortcut. The very moment you start to feel stressed, anxious, or just low, I want you to say this precise sentence. You can say it silently to yourself or out loud if you're alone. I'm feeling stressed, or maybe I'm feeling overwhelmed. That is the whole trick. Just name it. You don't need to do any deep psychological analysis of your childhood, and you definitely don't need to try and fix the massive problem in that exact moment. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what happens when you do that. When you are fully consumed by an emotion, it's literally like our stickman right here, standing outside, just getting completely soaked in a massive thunderstorm. But the absolute second you name the emotion, you flip a switch in your brain. You move control away from the emotional centers directly back to the logical centers. Suddenly, you're the stickman on the right. You're safely inside a warm house, just observing the storm through the window. It's a game changer because you break the panic loop. Why? Because your brain literally cannot fully panic and logically label an emotion at the exact same time. It is a biological loophole. All right, moving on to trick 3, micro wins. Let's learn how to trigger some dopamine.
I need you to lean in for this one because this is absolutely the most powerful technique we're covering today. If you miss this, you are missing the brain's absolute fastest happiness trigger. Now, most people assume happiness chemicals are only unlocked after you finish massive life goals, like getting a promotion or running a marathon. But that is completely wrong. Your brain actually releases dopamine, which is its primary happiness and motivation chemical, during tiny 15-second moments of progress. The brain doesn't just wait around to reward the final success, it rewards the physical act of making progress.
Let's put this into practice right now. Pick one of these micro actions and do it with me. Straighten your posture, unslouch your shoulders, or take one deliberately slow, deep breath. Maybe grab your glass and take a quick sip of water. Or if you're at your desk, just check off one tiny, simple task you've been putting off. Doing any single one of these takes less than 15 seconds. But when you do it, your brain detects progress. And to your brain, that feeling of progress equals an immediate, real dopamine hit.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it completely flips our usual way of thinking. People have this tendency to wait for motivation to strike from the heavens before they act, like it's a lightning bolt. But that is entirely backwards. The absolute truth is that action comes first, and then motivation follows. That quick little dopamine hit you just got from a tiny action, that actually increases your motivation, your focus, and your optimism for the next thing. That is exactly why simply starting a task is always, always the hardest part. This makes a micro-win the absolute most versatile tool in your entire mental toolkit. Stuck in a bad mood? Do a micro-win. Running on totally low energy? Hit a micro-win. Feeling completely stuck and paralyzed? Micro-win! You really do not need massive life changes to start feeling better. You just need a slight physical or mental movement to instantly shift your nervous system out of park and into drive. Okay, let's bring it all together. Activating your brain and how to take real control. Let's move to and see how this builds. Think about what you've just learned in the last few minutes. You now have a complete, science-backed toolkit to control your brain's chemistry. You know exactly how to use your face to send a safety signal. You know how to use labeling to stop emotional spirals dead in their tracks. And you know how to use micro-wins to trigger dopamine practically on demand. It all builds into this one core takeaway. Happiness isn't something you find hiding out there in the world. It is something you actively activate. These 3 tricks aren't some grueling long-term habits you need to painstakingly build over 6 months. They are immediate switches you can flip right this second. When you soften your face, name the emotion, and create one tiny win in under a minute, you take very real, very tangible control over your state of mind. The science on this is incredibly clear. You are never actually stuck in a bad state for long, not once you know where the switches are. Your brain already has absolutely everything it needs to shift your mood in just 15 seconds. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, completely frustrated, or just plain stuck, I want you to remember this explainer. Picture our stickman friend and ask yourself this one simple question. Which switch will you flip today?